got the freaking Grand Canyon over here.
Gaping Grand Canyon. What is up, boys and girls? Welcome to another installment for Project GR Supra Manual. For those of you just tuning in the last segment, I almost said schmegment. Segment, we installed these lovely Ray's Volk TE37 Ultra M Spec wheels. But we didn't touch the suspension yet. But today, we're gonna address the gaping, as Matt called it, Grand Canyon right eye. Although this really isn't that bad.
No, it's not that bad.
Now that everything's like kind of settled in, it looks better. And I actually drove the car for the first time last night. I took it up the road to the stop sign intersection. I turned around and I came right back.
I think you gotta prove it. Show me the mileage. What are you on 18 now? Or are you still 17?
I don't know. Anyways, just take my word for it. But I did that because I was like, well, before we start doing suspension and shit, like I should probably make sure that everything feels okay with the car, you know, before I go and start taking stuff apart. The reason why I haven't driven is because it's winter. It was dry last night, but it's muddy during the day because it's starting to warm up a little bit and melt the remaining snow. But everything was dry last night and cold. But I have to get everything PPF'd. So I don't want to drive and drive behind somebody and get chips and dinghies and whatever on the car, because it's my only car with mint paint. So I'm going to protect it before I really drive it. So now we're just stuck in winter mode, doing whatever we can for modifications, because I was accumulating parts in the almost year-long wait while waiting for this thing to come in. But for my choice for suspension, so I guess before I talk about what I went with, I want to say the whole premise for this car is optimizing the Grand Touring part of it, but while making it sportier, handle a little bit better, a little bit faster. But I don't want to take away the Grand Touring component of the car, because that's essentially what a Supra in my eyes is. It's more of a sports car leaning into the Grand Touring category. Would you say that's accurate, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not quite, you know, it's not quite Grand Touring car weights, but it's like getting close to it. And it's comfortable. It's a quiet, comfortable car to be inside. So I want to keep everything as, I guess, OEM plus, but like comfortable as possible without.
You don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to sacrifice
we're not
it.
making it a race car.
I got enough loud cars. So anyhow, the OEM shocks are BMW's electronic dampers, and they're actually pretty darn good from what I've gathered. Now, I drove my friend Felix's Supra, who's here with us tonight, and is going to be walking us through this installation, because he actually did this on his GR Supra, if you guys remember when we had him on the channel a little ways back. But when I drove his car stock, I was really impressed with how well damped the suspension was.
It was nice. It felt great.
It's really good. So I want to keep that component. I don't see a need to replace the shocks for what I'm going to be doing with the car. So I think these are just called coilovers, but the trendy term that's getting thrown around on the streets is that they're height adjustable lowering springs. And I almost went with the HKS ones, but when I was looking at them, to me they look more like a progressive rated spring. So I kind of shied away from that. And progressive springs they're soft when the car is traveling straight, but as you corner and you transfer weight onto them, load them up essentially, the spring rate stiffens. I don't like this because it makes the handling predictability of the car just not as consistent, depending on how much load you're actually putting on the corner, or the corner of the wheel with that spring assembly. Linear springs are the same spring rate all the time, and they're supposed to be a little bit more predictive. Now, they don't advertise that these are linear, but usually a good takeaway is when the coils get tighter from one section to another, those are progressive. Typically when they're the same shape all the way through, they're linear. These rears definitely look like linear springs. They do not look like progressive spring rates. The company who makes this is MSS. I have no idea what it stands for. This just came up in my searches as another company who makes a height adjustable lowering kit for the car. But one of the cool things that I saw with this one, especially over the HKS, is it's got helper springs in the rear.
Well, that's a progressive helper.
This is a progressive, but I don't care so much about the progressive.
Yeah, well, most of the time they're almost fully compressed when there's load on the vehicle anyway.
Correct. So These don't necessarily do as much, but having the helper springs will definitely keep ride compliance and comfort on just normal driving. And then once these are loaded up fully, then the mainspring takes over. So we're going to complement these with a set of Virus Engineering. These are their billet aluminum camber hats. So I want the suspension set up on this car dialed in so it's a true joy, pleasure to drive on the road. And
more camber in the front than the rear.
Always on an FR car. Much more camber in the front than in the rear. That's what really gives you that predictable rotation when the car goes into oversteer or a drift. Love it. So we want a lot of camber in the front, probably somewhere in the high 2s, maybe even 3 degrees. And then as little as possible in the rear, no more than 1.5 degrees. So somewhere between one degree to 1.5 degrees. I don't know what this is stock. I want to say it's 2 degrees negative in the rear and 1.5 in the front, because that's how most BMWs come out of the box, which is stupid.
That's for all the knucklehead drivers that don't know how to handle oversteer.
Well, that's the thing. It only protects you when you drive up to like 7, 8 tenths. So what that does is it gives the car a little bit more of an understeer bias at speed while turning in, and that's fine. The car will just understeer instead of oversteer. But if you try to do knucklehead things in it and actually intentionally put the car into oversteer, it's much more edgier and snappier at the limit and more difficult to control. So it's like it protects you up to that 7, 8 tenths mark, but if you really start to like, F around on that last like 9, 10 tenths area, that setup can really bite you. No good.
Yeah, there's nothing worse when you go to like intentionally oversteer and then you understeer.
Exactly.
That's the worst.
It's horrible. And then when you use so much throttle to like kick the car into oversteer,
and then it does oversteer and you spin out.
And then it super snaps.
Yep.
And the front will regain grip faster, and then you go into this like understeer across the road into oncoming. It's just no good for anything. Okay. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to take weights of the stock components that we take off and the weights of these. I'm hoping that there's weight savings. Everything that I've hoped for weight savings in this project so far, I've been a little bit disappointed, but we'll see where we end up.
So these are the adjustable top hats right here for the rear, I'm guessing.
These are just the adjustable perches
sleeves, yeah,
for the rear.
They kind of remind me of those. Remember ground control coilovers?
Yes. Oh, there's more. These are the fronts. The fronts are bigger.
Oh, they're bigger, yeah.
And they give you these isolator boots, and looks like we got some bump stops in here.
Oh, cool.
Cool beans.
All right, well, let's get this thing prepped to get started.
Let's dive into it.
There's a lot of
Pressure.
Under pressure.
Pressure. All right, so we took the wheel off. We took the covers off. I did a little cleanup because there's leftover dirt and debris in here from shipping. We just cracked the top hat nut, or the bearing nut, loose. Made sure that the shaft wasn't spinning. I bought this kit off of Amazon for 40 bucks. Comes with windowed sockets just for this, so if you can't break it loose and you don't want to put an impact on it, you can get it in there with the Allen wrench to hold the shaft from spinning.
Nice.
Yep, came with a whole bunch of different sizes, so that was a nice little thing. Although I will say the shafts weren't spinning on these, but at least I was able to see that they weren't spinning. And then we just loosened the 4 top hat bolts right here. These aren't very tight. Did you say the torque spec was 15?
They're usually not high, especially there's 4 of them too. So
now we're gonna work our way to the shock itself and take things apart. So unlike a nice A-arm suspension, this is a McPherson. We're gonna undo the center nut here that holds the shaft in place, and that's gonna release the top of this from the inside of the top hat. Top hat we're gonna leave bolted to the shock mount. Matthew's gonna go down the bottom and receive it like a receiver and prevent it from dropping, but he's gonna just gently bring it forward, pulling it down so it doesn't scrape the plastic underneath here, and then we're gonna bring the end of it to about right here, and then we can start disassembling the whole shock and spring assembly. And even with the stock springs, you don't really need a spring compressor for this. I saw people using a spring compressor. it's not needed. There's not enough spring tension on it, so.
That's awesome.
Yes, I guess. I still think A-arm cars are easier to work on. Take a chisel, come up in here.
It's making me nervous.
That's it. So first you take your new rubber mount here.
Note this.
There's a peony hole in it.
Yep.
So peony hole goes with the other peony here.
It's in the back, right?
It's in the back. You just kind of work it over, lining it up. You gotta line it up with your finger.
That fit over the...
Well, that goes over anyways. Put your white cap back on. Oh, I need a mallet. Thank you, sir. Okay, take our
seat,
coilover collar, bump stop, spring. I'm gonna put the flat edge of the spring on the adjuster, and then the dust boot
with the bearing,
the plastic bearing.
You want to line this bump right here with the bottom of it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you, sir.
There's a spot for if you rotate it, it'll
Yep.
stop rotating.
Right there. Okay.
And then the challenging part.
Top hat.
Oh, well, we gotta get the OE top hat out. And then the Veris one.
Yep. Because he's doing camber plates. I'm assuming you can do this without camber plates too?
Correct.
I already cracked these loose before. Yeah. So, fun fact, the Veris top hat assemblies compared to the OE shaves 3 ounces per corner. Finally,
Something that's lighter that you're putting on this car?
some weight savings. So for the Veris hats, you also get this new sleeve and this, I don't know what kind of nut you would call this, because it's got external threads, internal threads, and a hex.
It's almost like a thread adapter.
So we're just going to impact this onto the body of the shock here.
Yeah, so it acts as like a nut for this insert, but then it's also threads for the bigger nut that holds the rod to the camber plate.
That's it. So for the camber hat, we're just maxing out the camber, and we'll see whatever we get when we're done. And this is a very tight clearance to get this sleeve over the end of this shaft here to use the new nut that Veris provides to grab their adapter nut here. When you get it in there and you get it close, we used a little bit of WD-40 just to aid, and that actually helped it seat home because otherwise it was binding up on here.
We also got a T-handle and put it on the Allen just so we can
wiggle
like
it to 6 mil.
6 mil, yep.
All right, so we're gonna bolt this back into the car. Oh no, what did we do? We moved the shock in, and then we put this on temporarily. And then we start the guide. We have to jack the brake rotor up and the knuckle up to align the holes. And then when we get the shock mount, or I'm sorry, the top hat threads through the shock mount, then we added a little bit of grease in here, and that helped seat it up as we jacked the rest of the way up, and we were able to get the nut on.
Yeah, because you can't bolt this up now because it'll just
No, it's going to scrape all on the inside here.
Yep.
So we're gonna push this back, and then put this on, and then start guiding it up.
Yep.
Freaking McPherson's, man. So just putting a 6 mil Allen in here and wiggling the, what's the official name for that tube that runs down the shock?
Just the shaft. Yeah.
Just the shaft.
Yeah, the problem is the shaft rotates and it goes up and down. So like.
So that plus a little bit of WD-40 and putting the weight on it You
Yeah.
want to see, this is where you got to be. You got to seat this home in here so you actually have threads. Back up a little bit in your camera. You can have threads in here to be able to grab this. So we're just going to put this down and then we're going to impact this once we seat it home. And we'll finish installing the top hat.
This worked.
But it is like.
I got 2.5 hours in here.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I go all night.
Oh, you gotta turn your thing on.
I go all night.
Nope. Now.
I go all night.
No, nope, now.
Son of a bitch. All right. So we didn't listen to Felix on how to do the rears. Felix did the way that MSS installs it, but it requires removing the rear eccentric. And I know that it's probably gonna need an alignment regardless, but I'm trying not to jeff it up as little as I possibly can. So Matt and I said maybe it'd be better to undo the bottom of the knuckle and the bottom of the shock here and pivot this arm down versus undoing the eccentric and pivoting it down this way. This method works. We tested it on the passenger side. So that's what we're gonna do again here for the, oh wait,
This is the passenger side.
we did it on the driver's side. We're gonna do it on the passenger side. I forgot what side of the car I'm on.
This is not Japan.
I said I can go all night. Doesn't mean it's gonna be with full brain functionality. All right.
So yeah, we're just gonna take these two out again.
Yeah, it seemed to work.
And
You probably gonna need a 12 point.
it was also more than just the eccentric, not having to touch that too. It just felt like, for me, like getting clearance for getting the spring out, like it makes more sense to just pivot the whole arm down that way. Right, Quinn?
That's right. Clarence. That's the building
This
inspector.
guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence. What's that from, Quinn?
Oh wait, I gotta go up.
I know what that's from.
What?
This guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence.
Clarence's parents have a real nice marriage.
Oh, come on.
Ah,
Brian.
so good.
It's your favorite role model.
What?
He got replaced.
You know, we don't have to film this tedious work
I
here.
like this conversation though.
It's on you.
I mean, just for the record, I haven't watched 8 Mile since I was in high school,
Since you were in the 8 Mile,
which was like fucking eons ago.
It says in high school? Quinn, you were definitely in college. You had to have been.
Bro, I was in high school when 8 Mile came out. Yes.
No way.
all right, look it up the year.
No way.
What year did this?
Because I was in like high school when that came out. 8 Mile. You.
2002.
That was when I graduated
Yeah,
high school.
I graduated high school in 2003.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy.
Well, no, because I graduated in 2006.
And like, you know, it was fine, but it wasn't a movie that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this 50 times because I love it so much.
Yeah, like the Fast and Furious.
Right there, I can pick. If you were making quotes from there, I would have picked up on it.
It was funny. People hated me because I never enjoyed that series and never really watched it.
Fast and Furious?
Yeah, I stopped after.
What kind of racer are you?
Because I didn't. Fucking faker. It was.
Yeah, seriously.
I felt like the movie was fake, so I was
You
like,
have a Supra. Supra was like the star of the first movie.
here we go.
You wouldn't have none of this if it wasn't for that movie.
I thought that 2000 was the start of the first one.
It was a Honda 2000.
Oh, sorry.
Honda 2000, bruh.
And he's got more than 100 grand under the hood.
Wow.
Don't do it, Jesse.
That was a lot of money in 2002.
So you know that Jetta really did have calipers? It just had caliper covers on it? Or something like that?
That Jetta was an automatic too.
I watched, someone did a video on that thing recently.
Did you watch Tokyo Drift? Because that was still the best
No,
one.
that's it. That's all I watched. I love Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, it was awesome. They should have made it. They should have made a Tokyo Drift too.
I agree,
great.
100%.
After Paul Walker died, I stopped watching movies. I'm like, I'm not
Well, that
watching
was like
this anymore.
he was in the 7th one though.
Yeah.
That was his last
Yeah,
one.
but
I thought
think
Fast
there's
5
been-
was good.
I think there's been like 3 since.
There's more. There's Fast 5.
Oh, now they're just garbage. It's so
that's
bad.
The thing. The last one I watched was when the last one Paul Walker was still
That was
in.
7.
Cutting all of this.
Yeah, I know, we're gonna.
All right, so we're gonna, the bolts are loose mostly. We're gonna put our transmission jack underneath here, relieve the tension of it, and then take them out. And then our spring assembly just bloop, right out. Jesus,
I was gonna say.
startled me. I'm so startled
it always-
right now. I'm just so startled.
Yeah, we're gonna cut that part.
I think that was pretty funny.
But the wood was like on its side, right? Is that what
Yeah.
happened?
It's just a little spring tension. It's fine. It's fine, guys. Here, so I'm gonna twist this.
Remember that guy who commented, said he wouldn't let us work on his BMX bike?
Oh yeah, why was he saying that?
We were joking around. That was when we did the coolant overflow on the RX-8.
Oh, that's right. That was a complete like joke.
Yeah, and I
that was that video.
You're too old to be working on BMX bikes anymore.
I think I said like, "Oh man, please."
The internet doesn't surprise me with people that
All right,
have like
there it is.
There's a spring.
There it is. Kids, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news with this, but every suspension corner is getting at least a pound and a half of weight over the OE. I'm probably more heartbroken than all you are.
Quinn does not like adding weight to his cars.
No.
If you haven't figured that out. That's a spring.
It's almost a red rocket, but it's orange. All right, I need one of you boys to give me a hand here. It's a two-man job.
2-man job with that red rocket.
Okay, come on up slowly.
Can I come up more now?
Go.
More? That's it.
Okay. We need my piece of wood that went flying.
Let's put it flat now.
Don't scratch the car.
Oh, I see a hole lining up.
Yeah, let's get the bolt in that one first.
Yeah, any installs I go do on my car, I'm coming here.
Yeah, bring it over. Up, gently.
A lot of friends that help out.
We work on cars once a week.
Some of us.
I'm normally doing
Some of us
something.
work on junk here all the time.
It's just funny because I seen Quinn when he was like,
Dude, this
maybe
thing's
I
not
wouldn't say at his
nearly
prime,
as like bent.
but he was getting to his prime, and he was literally just doing stuff on jack stands.
Oh yeah, you kind of have to. Yeah.
We stopped doing car projects
All
when
right,
we
go
bought the
ahead. Go
jet, or bought the car lift. We can't. We have to go down and flip the block, so we're not hitting this too.
Okay. So let's go down and flip the block.
Watch your head.
Careful, brother.
Ow. That part of the lift is very hard.
What's going on with this thing?
Well, it's not loving this. It really wasn't made for it.
Are you sure?
Just stop it, okay?
I think it is rated for it.
Uh-oh.
Just watch the
All
fire.
right, hold on.
Got a nice shot of Quinn's elbow.
Nice. Now. All right, run in with the impact, quick.
You gotta come down. You're too high.
Still going up.
Come down. Right there.
Push.
Now come up
All
here.
those muscles for nothing.
Hold on.
You maybe need to eat a Big Mac.
So you got the little baby hammer? Or?
Come on. Super fast.
There it goes. Drop her down. Oh no, not drop
Oh,
her
we
down.
gotta torque it. So it looks just like the FT1,
Yeah.
or more like the FT1, I should say, lowered and a little bit longer. And honestly, the wing is not bothering me.
It's not either. It's not bothering me either. I was definitely a no for that. Like it would have been a big no, but with everything together, it really looks like a complete package. Right?
Yeah. I wish
Yeah.
it was a little bit wider. I wish it
somebody
came out
made-
a little
I
bit wider
agree.
and there was like maybe a small end plate that just came down or something like that.
Somebody may do something like that though.
Yeah.
They may make an insert or something that's just a little bit more aggressive.
It's like a Supra GT3.
Yeah.
The wing and with the wing and the graphic.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It is more like a Supra GT3. Damn.
Yeah, I know.
I got 1 mile on the car. And it probably wasn't.
Oh, it hit
even a whole-
18?
It shows 18 now on the odometer.
Oh, snap.
But my little voyage up the road and back last night was definitely not a mile. So
So you don't even have a mile on this car driven yet.
I probably have a half a mile driven.
It definitely looks like you've got more negative camber in the front too.
It's perfect.
It looks like you might have a little bit too much in the rear though. I think.
I mean, probably more than what I want, yeah. But as long as right now the rear is lower than, like, less negative camber than the front, then that's ideal. That side looks like it's got more camber than.
That's your mic spec, so you could probably base that on a comparison with your life. Because it rides pretty well. Like I said, you could probably play a little bit with the rear to your liking. But yeah, I definitely went as much negative as negative as I could in the front.
Yeah.
And then I try to stay as close to zero in the rear.
Well, you were just limited by what you got out of the hats, right? And the ride height? Yeah. So I think that's, and it doesn't look like it's got crazy camber.
No, but it was enough to make that change that I wanted, right? Like I don't feel as snappy. I do feel more confident diving into corners.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
You're probably like a little over -2 degrees in the front from what.
Yeah, definitely over -2.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll be honest, at this ride height, I thought I would have saw like closer to 3. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's.
No, it's perfect. I honestly think it's perfect.
But at least there's camber adjustment in the rear, or there should be anyways.
Yeah, so if you take out a little bit
So
in the rear.
even if I'm like a little over 2 in the front and I just drop the rear down to like, 0.8 negative, I'd be
Yeah.
happy with that.
I had a split between -3 and -1, and that was great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let us know what you guys think. Should the graphic go? Yay or nay? Put it in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you all in the next one. Done.